Tuscaloosa to frenzy. Firing. Touchdown, Alabama.
SEC champions, Alabama, Crimson Tide.
We talked about Alabama. Step back three. Money. And the Alabama Crimson Tide will roll into the Final Four. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide and welcome to TideTV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Paige Riley. And Paige, I know I've been away from the show for about a month with women's basketball travel, but it's great to be home in Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, it's great to have you back. I mean, it's been forever, and there's been a lot that's going on with Alabama men's basketball.
Absolutely. The Crimson Tide men's basketball team continuing their tough finish to the season this past Saturday. The Tide's final 7 matchups are all ranked in the top 25.
And this past Saturday, the Tide faced 17th ranked Kentucky for the second time this season.
For the third game in a row, the Crimson Tide fell behind early on. The Wildcats used a 20-7 run to take a 20-9 lead a little over 5 minutes in. Crimson Tide countered with a 7-0 run to cut the deficit to just 4. But the Wildcats answered right back. A 10-2 run gave Kentucky their largest lead of the game at 12, 30-18, midway through the first half.
And Alabama really showed resilience in this game. They went on a 24-4 run to take an 8-point lead with just over 3 minutes to play in the half. After being down double digits early on in the first half, the Tide took a 47-40 lead into the locker room at the half.
Kentucky pulled to within 1 possession on 3 different occasions in the second half, but it could never tie the game. Alabama led by as many as 15 in the second half as the Tide rolled to the 13-point win over the 17th-ranked Wildcats, 96-83.
Sears is playing the best basketball I've seen him play since he's been here on both sides of the ball. The one play with the bad turnover there late, trying to get Cliff a lob, which not the smartest play. He apologized as soon as he came to the bench. He felt bad, but I think he knew Cliff was, 1 point shy of a double-double. He had played so hard. He rebounded it. He was trying to get him a bucket. Then he turns around, gets a steal, comes back, gets the 3. I think his defensive effort's been pretty good, best it's been. And then I think offensively he's been really efficient. So proud of the effort. Got to clean up the turnovers, got to still clean up the defense a little bit, but it was significantly better than the Missouri game.
Alabama swept the season series with Kentucky for the fourth time in program history. Mark Sears led the way with his second consecutive 30-point-plus performance.
Sears was joined in double figures by Aiden Holloway with 19 and Chris Youngblood with 14. Clifford Amori finished with a double-double as he had 11 points and a season-high 15 rebounds. And for those back-to-back 30-point performances, Mark Sears was named the Southeastern Conference Co-Player of the Week. Sears became the first player in Division I this season with back-to-back 30-point games, both against AP-ranked opponents, and is only the second player to do so in the last 20 years. And
on top of that, Sears is currently second in the SEC, scoring averaging 19 points per game.
The win over 17th-ranked Kentucky was the second this season for Nado's squad. Let's take an all-access look at the Tide's big win over the Wildcats.
On defense in the last 2 games, they've also had some offensive problems. What do you make of where they stand right now? Bump in the road or something to be worried about?
I think I'm a little bit worried about Alabama. I know the way last year finished and how they got to the Final Four. But I think, as you become more successful individuals with NIL deals and attention, I think that attention can affect the team and how they're moving forward. And it's a really good basketball team. But it was that sense of urgency that I was looking for in that game. Now they can bounce back, but I think ultimately it comes down to how do they compete.
But delighted to be back home in front of a massive crowd as we welcome you inside the Coliseum.
We got the #1 team in the nation offensively in Alabama and the #3 in Kentucky. So something's going to go.
This is a high-scoring game, a special opportunity for Kentucky, a special night for us to have you here.
Come out with fire, and we got to play defense. Team that decides to play defense leaves with the W.
Alabama knows if we are going to not only compete for a conference title, we still have a chance, but a national title, they've got to tighten the screws up on defense.
Trying to shake free, gets bumped, goes to the rack, hands it off, the flood, and Alabama draws first blood. What a good job by Holloway leading the pass. Then he steps into a three, knocks it down. That's huge right there for Aiden Holloway. Sears, catch and shoot, three ball. We'll take our chances with that all night long. A bank first three. Great hustle, Nelson saving it for Alabama. Now here's Sears driving down the lane off the window and in. So the crowd on his feet, offensive foul.
And give Mark credit on both of those defensive stops.
Here comes the Tide the other way. Phylon to drive. The lob and flip the two. Timeout, Kentucky. Alabama is pulled to within 4. Go with the bounce pass. There's hope for 2.
Beautiful high pick and roll. And
This Holloway for 3. In, no good. Rebounded Cliff, and he'll slam it down. Still has it. Goes between the legs. Goes down the lane. Goes to the rack. Alabama has taken the lead.
How about the toughness of Jaron Stevens that took it right at the defender? Physical play, took a little contact.
Phylon to the rack. It is good. He is fouled. Timeout on the floor. Now to Youngblood for 3 again. He's heating up. Chris Youngblood gives Bama its biggest lead at 83-70 and get out of here, beating Kentucky for the second time this year.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
College baseball is the best. College baseball in this league is the absolute best of the best because you get the energy, you get the crowd, you get all that. You got 6,000 people in there in that place rocking. That's why you come play college baseball right there.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. Roger, we've reached the final 2 weeks of the regular season for the Alabama men's basketball team, and this past Tuesday night, they held their next to last home game of the season.
Hard to believe it's coming that fast. 6th-ranked Alabama hosted number 24 Mississippi State. Going into the matchup, the Crimson Tide had won 5 in a row over the Bulldogs, including 9 of the last 10 meetings. Alabama really dominated the Bulldogs inside Coleman Coliseum on Tuesday night. With Mississippi State up 5-4 in the opening minutes of the game, Alabama used a 14-4 run to take a 10-point lead. Crimson Tide extended that lead to 20 on back-to-back three-pointers by Chris Youngblood to make it 35-15 with only 6 minutes to go in the half. The Tide's strong shooting continued all throughout the half, connecting on 11 first-half three-pointers. This one, with only 4 seconds left by Mark Sears, gave Alabama the 26-point lead at the break, 53-27.
The Crimson Tide continued their hot shooting in the second half, knocking down 11 more three-pointers for a season high of 22 in that game. Another 3 from Chris Youngblood put Alabama up 31 at the 12-minute mark. Alabama led by as many as 38 in the second half, and the Tide eclipsed the century mark for the 7th time this season as the Tide rolled to the 111-73 win over 24th-ranked Mississippi State.
We've tried to go a little lighter, get the guys' legs back. You know, typically when we go Saturday, Tuesday, the only off day we would have on the week would be Wednesday, tomorrow. We gave them Sunday off. We tried to go pretty light yesterday, and I think it's paying off. You know, our guys' legs are a little more fresh. Youngblood looked great. Thought Sears, LeBaron, thought Grant, you know, with not practicing yesterday with the shin bruise he had, thought he looked great with his effort. So all in all, good win. You know, and you know, Mississippi State's a good team. It wasn't their night tonight, but they're still a tough team. We barely out-rebounded them on a night when we, you know, forced a lot of misses from them, and there was a lot of rebounds to get. They still play hard. So I think this win's going to go a long ways because they'll bounce back and get some wins here soon, I think.
The 111 points are a season high for the Crimson Tide, and 22 three-pointers is the second highest single-game total in program history. Chris Youngblood led the Crimson Tide, shooting 7 of 11 from beyond the arc with a season-high 27 points. He has totaled 50 points in his 2 matchups with the Bulldogs this season.
Mark Sears recorded his second double-double of the year as he finished with 21 points and 10 assists.
The win over the 24th-ranked Bulldogs improved the Tide's record to 23-5 overall and a 12-3 mark in the SEC play. Alabama is now in sole possession of second place in SEC standings.
And on Sunday, the 18th-ranked Alabama women's basketball team hosted the Auburn Tigers. Alabama had dominated the series over Auburn going into Sunday's matchup, winning 10 out of the last 11 matchups.
Auburn jumped on the Tide early as they controlled the first quarter, leading 20-9 after the first 10 minutes. But the Tide turned in the second quarter after Auburn used a 9-4 run to take a 29-point lead. Alabama closed out the half with a 17-0 run. This layup with 3 seconds left gave Alabama a 1-point lead at the half, 30-29.
From there, the Crimson Tide never trailed again. Auburn tied the score a couple of times early in the third, but Alabama was dominant over the final 30 minutes of play. It's not about how you start, but how you finish. And over the final 3 quarters, Alabama outscored the Auburn Tigers 57-30. Alabama defeated Auburn for the 11th time out of their last 12 meetings, 66-50.
I'm just so proud for this team. You know, everything, the work, the energy, the effort. When you look at, you know, our players, you look at CB that's up here that made a 1-year commitment, and Zay, what they have meant, and then you look at Aaliyah and SA who have just steadied this and continued to help us ascend the program. It's amazing. And, you know, you look at Jess who, honest to goodness, there's days where she's the best player in practice and just continues to get better and better with coming back from her setback with her injury. Just all 5 of them and the impact that they have every single day. I think the thing is it's just a credit to the kids. I mean, every single person that suits up every day.
Along with the game being the Power of Pink contest, it was also Senior Day. Coach Curry and the Crimson Tide honored 6 seniors after the game, including 3 starters from the win over Auburn, and Aaliyah Nye, Sarah Ashley Barker, as well as Zay Green. The win improved the Crimson Tide's overall record to 22-6 overall and 9-5 in SEC play.
Also, the Alabama baseball team had a big weekend in Florida. We'll have the details on the Tide's trip to the Sunshine State coming up next.
TideTV This Week is presented by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
In every moment, greatness awaits. For the bold, the visionary, and those ready to take their shot. Here, we don't chase success. We define it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Roll Tide! I'm Roger Hoover alongside Paige Riley, and this is TideTV This Week. Paige, the Alabama baseball team has gotten off to a great start, of course, at home here in Tuscaloosa, but the competition got a little tougher this past weekend on the road in Jacksonville.
It 100% did. They started off facing the 2016 national champions Coastal Carolina, then 12th-ranked North Carolina State and Ohio State at the Jacksonville Classic in Jacksonville, Florida.
Alabama was up 2-1 before blowing the game open in the 5th of the first contest. Crimson Tide scored 5 runs in the 5th to take the 7-1 lead. Alabama used 12 walks to play 9 runs in the game. Zane Adams picked up the win, only allowing 1 run in 4 1/3 innings. Adams struck out 6 batters as Alabama picked up the 9-2 win over Coastal Carolina in Game 1 of the Jacks Classic.
Saturday would be a matchup against 12th-ranked North Carolina State. The story against the Wolfpack would be the Tide's pitching staff. Alabama's pitchers allowed just 3 hits while striking out 8. Riley Quick got the win as he improved to 2-0 on the year, allowing just 1 hit in 4 innings. Brennan Norton hit a solo shot to left in the 4th as Alabama upset 12th-ranked North Carolina State 4-0.
In the weekend finale, Alabama took on Ohio State. The Buckeyes jumped out to a 10-0 lead in the fourth, but in the bottom of the fourth, Crimson Tide began the comeback. Justin LeBron hit 2 3-run bombs as Alabama pulled to within 1 run at 10-9 going into the final inning. 2 on and 1 out. It was Will Hodo stepping to the plate. He delivered the game-winning home run. This shot all the way over the wall and center gave Alabama the 12-10 come-from-behind walk-off win. What a way for the Crimson Tide to cap off an undefeated weekend with the largest comeback in school history.
And Justin LeBron's 2 home run performance in Game 3 helped him earn a tournament MVP. Along with those 2 homers, LeBron scored 5 runs while driving in 6.
On Tuesday, Alabama welcomed Jacksonville State to the Joe. Will Hodo got the Tide on the board first with a 3-run home run in the first inning. Alabama from there scored 13 runs in the second inning as Alabama hit 4 home runs, including a grand slam from Bryce Fowler.
Justin LeBron also hit a pair of home runs with both of them coming in that second inning. It's the second game in a row LeBron has hit 2 home runs. Alabama remained undefeated on the year at 9-0 with the 22-11 win.
And with his performance, Will Hodo was named the SEC Co-Offensive Player of the Week. Hodo hit .389 in his 5 starts over the week, including 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in, with 10 runs scored.
A big week for Coach Vaughn's Crimson Tide baseball team. The Tide is now ranked 20th in the USA Today Coaches Top 25. This weekend, Alabama welcomes North Dakota State to the Joe for a 3-game series.
This past weekend, the 21st ranked Alabama softball team hosted 15th ranked Virginia Tech, Southern Utah, and Drake for the Easton Bama Bash. Alabama split the contest on Friday, dropping a 2-1 decision to the Hokies, but rebounded well with a 9-1 win over Southern Utah. Alabama swept both matchups against Drake on Saturday with a combined score of 30-2 in Game 1. Crimson Tide hit 4 home runs, including 2 triples. Alexis Papillo as well as Callie Hevlin hit 2-run homers as Alabama scored 9 runs in the first. Then in the fourth, Lauren Johnson and Marley Giles each hit 2-run homers as the Tide rolled big in Game 1, 19-0.
The 2-run homers continued in Game 2. This time it was Abby Dukeshire in the second. Emily Winstead picked up the win in both games as Alabama completed the sweep of Drake with the 11-2 win in Game 2.
Crimson Tide completed the Easton Bama Bash with a 9-1 run rule win over 15th ranked Virginia Tech on Sunday. Abby Dukeshire got the scoring going in the first with a double off the wall to bring home Audrey Vandegrift. With the score 7-1 in the fifth, Larissa Pruitt drove in the winning runs as 2 scored to give Alabama the 9-1 run rule win in 5.
Also, Jocelyn Brisky picked up the win as she allowed just 1 run over 4 2/3 innings, striking out 5. The win improved Alabama's record to 10-6 on the year. This weekend, the 22nd ranked Crimson Tide hosts the T-Mobile Crimson Classic at Rhodes Stadium.
It was the annual Power of Pink meet this past weekend for the Alabama gymnastics team. 17th ranked Crimson Tide hosted the 11th ranked Auburn Tigers in what was the 150th meeting all time between the 2 programs.
Lily Hudson tied her season high on vault with a 9-9 in Alabama's opening rotation. And next on the uneven bars, the Crimson Tide captured a season high and meet high 4.945 rotation score. Hudson, Ryan Fuller, and Shania Adams all stuck a 9-9 score to lead the Tide.
Next, it was another season high for the Crimson Tide. This time, it would be on the balance beam. Gabby Gladio highlighted the rotation with a season high 9.925 to lead the Tide to a season high 49.375 on beam. Crimson Tide closed the meet, posting its 3rd straight season high team rotation score. This time, it would be a meet high 49.6 on floor.
Alabama had 5 scores of 9-9 or better, led by Hudson and Gladio, who both finished in a tie for the event title with incredible performances of 9.95. But despite a season-best score for the Tide, it wouldn't be enough as Auburn picked up the win with the 197.75 to 197.35 victory. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV coming up next.
Here in front of a full house at the Rhodes House.
It goes to the wall and it's gone!
We're going to be filled with Rudita like you wouldn't believe.
But this is a team that has been there, done that in terms of its history.
We're going to do whatever we need to do to get back to Oklahoma City.
And the Crimson Tide
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined this week by Paige Riley. The Alabama swimming and diving team took part in the SEC championships this past week.
The conference championships were held in Athens, Georgia this year, and the Crimson Tide won several medals and broke several school and facility records. Both the men's and women's swimming and diving teams finished in 6th place. Avery Wiseman earned the silver medal in the women's 200-meter breaststroke. Emily Jones captured the bronze medal as she finished 3rd in the women's 100-meter backstroke. Charlie Hawk also picked up a bronze medal in the 200 freestyle, and Cadence Vincent picked up a couple of medals, one in the 50 freestyle and another as part of the 200 freestyle relay.
The Alabama women's tennis team picked up a couple of wins at home over the weekend. Crimson Tide swept both Mississippi State and Georgia State 4-0. 2 wins improved Alabama's record to 7-2 overall, and the Tide rose to number 17 in this week's ITA rankings.
The 19th ranked Alabama men's tennis team hit the road this past weekend for a couple of conference matchups. The first was a matchup in Columbia against South Carolina. The Tide dropped that matchup 4-1.
On Monday, the Tide faced the Florida Gators in Gainesville. Despite winning the doubles point, the Gators would go on to edge the Tide 4-3 as Florida won 4 out of 6 singles matches.
Stay with us. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next on Tide TV This Week.
College baseball is the best. College baseball in this league is the absolute best of the best because you get the energy, you get the crowd, you get all that. You got 6,000 people in there and that place rocking. That's why you come play college baseball right there.
A great job to keep it in bounds. And a bucket for Cedars again. He's got 7.
Wow. She should be excited about that.
Lily Hudson, the anchor.
And she can put up that stuck vault that they needed.
Spins around, stolen by SA. Driving left side, layup up and in.
That one's lined to right, and that's going to get all the way to the wall, and that's going to end the ball game.
Parker to 9, left side 3. Bullseye!
Into the hands now of Phylon, stripped it, went to the other end and threw it home. Chris will throw the exclamation point from Big Cliff.
Another one blasted into center field. The second blast for Justin LeBron.
Holloway dribbling away from a double team, fires it over to Mark. That was pretty. Splits defenders down the lane. Grant Nelson right down Main Street over to Youngblood. 27 for Youngblood.
Hodo launches it up into the air. It is out of here. The walk-off 3-run home run.
And those are our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
And Roger, we got to start with those big-time performances from the Crimson Tide basketball teams. Mark Sears totaled 51 points in wins over Kentucky and Mississippi State. The SEC Co-Player of the Week had a double-double with 21 points and 10 assists against the Bulldogs. And against the Wildcats, Sears was a perfect 11 of 11 from the free throw line.
Women's basketball, Leah Nye became Alabama's all-time career three-point leader as she knocked down 6 shots from beyond the arc, scoring 29 points in Alabama's 66-50 win over Auburn.
Will Hodo was clutch in Alabama's big comeback over Ohio State. He blasted the 3-run walk-off game-winning homer to give the Crimson Tide the 12-10 win over the Buckeyes. Hodo was also named the SEC Co-Player of the Week.
And in that win over Ohio State, Justin LeBron had a pair of 3-run homers to help the Crimson Tide in their comeback win. Then after that, on Tuesday against Jacksonville State, it was LeBron hitting 2 more homers. Both came in the second inning. LeBron now leads the SEC with 6 home runs this year.
Those were our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week. A couple of great performances on the hardwood and a couple from the diamond.
It's good to be back with you this week, Paige. And of course, we hope all of you will join us again next week for another edition of Tide TV This Week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.